Just stop overanalyzing. It's simpler than you can think. Just go with the flow and try to take a big problem and break it into a bunch of small ones. It's way easier to fix it this way than try to fix a huge issue.
If you're an entrepreneur who's built success but feels stuck in the grind, this podcast is for you. On the Live More Show, we give you short, powerful conversations to help you become more tax savvy, time rich, and totally free. Here's your host, Melanie Sikma.
A lot of entrepreneurs assume that they have to figure everything out on their own, but today's guest believes there's another path, one that can dramatically shorten the learning curve. Max Imma is an entrepreneur, certified franchise executive, and the founder of Bookskeeping, a company that supports more than 100 franchise brands across the country. His story is a powerful one, arriving in the United States as an immigrant, barely speaking English, navigating bankruptcy, rebuilding from the ground up, and ultimately creating multiple thriving businesses. Today, we're going to be talking about franchising, resilience, and why sometimes the smartest path to success isn't reinventing the wheel, it's building on a proven system. So, Max, I'm excited to have you. You shared that your unique ability to simplify things and find out-of-the-box solutions is the value that you're excited to bring to the show today. That's your superpower. So tell me why should our listener tune in today?
Hi, Melanie. Thank you for the opportunity to be here. Well, I think people generally, all of us, we make stuff overcomplicated and we overanalyze things. I always tell people just stop overanalyzing. It's simpler than you can think. Just go with the flow and try to take a big problem and break it into a bunch of small ones. It's way easier to fix it this way than try to fix a huge, issue that you don't know what to do about, you're stressing about, and that adds more stress. So simplifying really helps. So there is a problem. I look at it. Every problem has a solution.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely, I believe in that. Unless we're talking about, humans' life and health. Even health has a solution. I mean, obviously, it's human life a little bit different, but majority of situations that we face as entrepreneur are not that dramatic. We think they're dramatic, but look, I've owned many businesses. I went on my own 24 years ago and had different ones. I've been up, then I lost everything and I had to declare bankruptcy with one baby at home and one on the way. That was scary. And that was 08, 09 when there was a recession. No jobs were available,
Wow.
nothing. At the time, I thought this is it. I thought I'm done forever. But after I slowed down, looked at it, we found a better way. And, we opened another business and we're able to sell it for profit later on.
That's awesome. Very cool. Why do you believe that franchising's path are a faster path to success than just like starting a business from the ground up?
Look,
for most
franchising
people?
gives you a blueprint. It tells you what to do, how to do it, and show you the successful story of other people who've done it before you. 99% of franchising, and if it's a brand new one, they have done it themselves. So they are actually teaching you what to do and most importantly, what not to do. I always tell my franchisees, can you figure out how to open your own bookkeeping company? Absolutely. But how many mistakes are you going to make before you figure it out? If we stay away from bookkeeping and use a pizza restaurant, if you can know the best recipe that your grandmother taught you, but knowing how to cook and owning a restaurant, which is really, it's the process of managing people. That's all it is. I don't know if you're aware, but average McDonald's employ over 50 people. So
Wow.
this is a lot of people that you have to manage. So as the business owner, it's not about burgers because McDonald's corporate takes care of that. They send you all the stuff. They tell you how to heat them up, how to cook. I mean, it's easy, but you have to manage people. So back to the pizza example, you can know how to make the best pizza, but how many pies are you going to burn before you figure out the perfect temperature, the perfect number of pepperonis, the type of cheese to put in? they're already telling you exactly what to do and what not to do. So that's why franchising just make your path to owning a business easier. That's why they charge royalties. There isn't reason for that. It's because they feel, and most certainly so, they have a right to have a piece of your business because they're teaching you how to be successful.
Yep. Yep. It's basically instead of paying the ignorance tax, you're paying the franchise piece of it.
Absolutely. And then you pay royalties, franchise fee royalties. I call it opportunity costs. So
Yeah.
if, let's say, it's going to take you 3 years to figure out and make all the possible mistakes, franchising is shortened in this period. You're still going to make mistakes. We all do. I mean, I've never found
Yeah.
a person who would not make a mistake, but hey, I appreciate mistakes because I'm learning from them.
Yeah, for sure. Now, I want to touch back on the people management because I would assume that our listener, if they're feeling tight in their business is very successful, they have employees, but they're feeling trapped. I would assume that they have a struggle with people management. So, what's your biggest tip on managing a staff?
Well, between three of my businesses, I have employees in 8 or 9 countries.
Mm,
So, it can be stressful at a time. Plus, cultural difference. Every country is different, and you have to learn the cultural specifics before you employ people from this country. I always make a point to visit this country, understand the culture before we open an office. So again, all our
mm,
clients are in the United States, but we do have staff in different parts of the world. And Philippines is different from Barcelona, Spain, and it's different from Bogota, Colombia. And we have offices in all three places, but people have different needs. People have different challenges, and you have to learn them and be upfront. And also, they have to understand you because, look, a lot of the people that work for us never worked for American corporations before. I mean, not a lot. Majority of them have. I try to look for people with experience, but we also get somebody fresh out of the school who never worked for an American corporation. And of course,
mhm.
here in the United States, we have different corporate culture than most countries in the world.
Yeah. So, I guess from that, what would your biggest tip be working with all your employees? What's your number one, I guess, biggest tip for success with people?
Uh, that would be two. One, listening to them, and as they suggest, do 90% listening, 10% talking, and that's the minimum. Maybe even increase the listening part. And second, whenever I visit the office, I always tell the employees, we go out all the time. We're having fun. I'm like, forget that I'm the CEO of the companies. Let's just go and have fun. We are equal. I'm not allowing them
Mhm.
to call me Mister, call me Sir. We are equal. There is allegedly a video that been recorded by my team of me doing Material Girl in a karaoke in Philippines. So I haven't seen it, but I know for a fact everybody, including my franchisees and including everybody on the team, has seen this video. I don't remember much because I was having fun. And, I might or might not have one or two adult beverages before that, but this is fun. And then I could feel the next day when we had business meetings, employees opened up to me because I was just having a great time with them. And, it wasn't like a CEO and, junior employee relationship. So, my piece of advice, for whatever it's worth, be closer to your people, and don't try to fake it because people feel it.
For sure. I love that. That's really good advice. What does your ideal franchise look like? What makes a good franchise for you?
Like, you're talking about, I'm assuming, ideal franchisee, correct?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry.
No, no, it's good because um, if we talk if you talk to me as the franchise broker, because I also own the brokerage, if somebody not a good match for bookkeeping, we can help people to choose over 600 different brands, then I can
Mhm.
tell you what the ideal franchise for me to sell because I believe people can be more successful. But if we're talking about ideal franchisee for me, um, somebody who can follow the rules. Look,
Hmm.
when you buy a franchise, you have to follow the rules. You have to be coachable. Some people are not good franchisees. Somebody who are direct and C-level type, will not be a good franchisee unless they buy multiple units and gonna treat that as a business and gonna have a management team managing this business. That's different. But if you're planning to do it yourself, because I talk to a lot of franchisors, I go to a lot of events as a franchisor and as the company that provides service to over 100 franchise brands doing bookkeeping for them. So I talk to a lot of franchisors, and their worst nightmare is somebody who buys the franchise and then sits down and tells you, son, let me tell you how we're going to run your business. This is not working. Franchise, you're not going to be allowed to sell pizza at McDonald's.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you can prove them that it's going to make a lot of money for the company, they're not going to allow that. However, as a good franchisors, you have to listen. The give you an example, the KFC bucket came from a franchisee recommendation. Speaking of
Oh,
McDonald's, the Big Mac came from a franchisee recommendation, and the franchisor listened and look where they are right now. So I'm always open to hear anybody's ideas, but it doesn't mean that we're going to be doing everything. You'll appreciate it as an accountant. We don't offer tax services. And I've been approached by franchisees or potential franchisees. Why are you leaving money on the table? You can do taxes and you'll do a lot of more volume and we'll make more money. And I always tell them this is not our business model. We get a lot of referrals from CPAs. We do a lot of work nationwide. You have to know tax laws in different states, and it's completely different specifics, and you have to employ different type of people.
yep.
So I'm there are a lot of franchises, at least 7 or 10 that I know of, that do taxes and they also do bookkeeping. I've never seen a CPA who would refer any business to them because it's competition. However, we have CPAs buying our franchise and CPAs definitely referring business to all of our franchisees and to the corporate because we are not a competition, we're an add on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. Now, your story is incredible. I found it interesting. I always love to hear stories of immigrants and, coming over. What was the first year like when you came over here from the Soviet Union?
That was, I don't want to say scary, but a lot of unknowns because I came in 1993. The internet did not exist at the time. So we had limited access to um, American life, American culture, other than the movies. But of course, movies is not the same as the real life.
No.
So now, before you travel somewhere, you can go and watch, YouTube for 80 hours, and you'll know the city better before you even, get on a plane. It wasn't the case at the time. So everything was unknown. I came in, I studied English before, but then I realized I don't understand anything that people talk about. So um, I had to figure out the way to go to college to find a job. And before I was able to do that, I had to figure out the way to learn English. And that's when first time I think in my life the outside thinking outside of the box came handy. I did not understand at the time. I'm like, okay, here's a situation. How can I fix it? Somebody told me that the hardest part was to understand people on the phone because you don't see the lips moving.
Oh,
And
yeah.
that was very hard for a lot of people after several years of living in the United States. I'm like, well, how can I fix it before it became a problem? So I came up with my know-how. I wish I could have sold it and make money at the time. So what I was doing, I was going outside to a payphone because at home I had two grandmothers. My parents were all living together, so it was just noisy and impossible. So I go to payphone and I was calling the 1-800 numbers of different credit cards. At a time, all the call centers were located in the United States. So I would be getting somebody with great English and different accents from different states, actually
Yeah.
talking to me and explaining to me for 40 minutes why I cannot have a credit card because obviously I didn't have a credit history. So I knew that, but I was getting 40 minutes of undivided attention, talking back and forth. When they were done with me, I would hang up and I would call another credit card company and I would talk to them
That's
for another
awesome.
40 minutes. So doing it for a couple hours a day, every day, my English came fast. I mean, now
That's
it would be
awesome.
harder to do that because most of the call centers are not located in the United States. But again, in 93, it worked great for me. And That allowed me to find the first job, and then from there quickly moved to a better paying job, and go to university, and the rest was history.
Yeah. Now, what brought you to your bookkeeping company? What made you go down that path?
Failure. So when we had with my co-founder, we had a landscaping business, and my co-founder at the time, she was my wife. She is now my ex-wife, but we still run the business together, and we're still really good, in terms of our relationship and being business partners. Actually, Entrepreneur Magazine reached out to us. They're doing a large interview about two ex spouses working together and building the business because they found it fascinating.
That is
So,
fascinating.
and yeah, it's coming out in the next month or two. So I'm very excited to see what's going to come out of that. But we had the landscaping business, which was growing. And when I joined the small family business, was 3 employees, and then grew to 96 employees. And while we were doing it, we completely overlooked that the economy was going this direction, and they stopped building. We were doing track homes. Again, that's '08, '09. It was a pretty bad years for the economy. And look, I always joke that I was a village idiot with bachelor in finance. My wife had masters in accounting. So we both
Hmm.
understood the value of accounting. We just never paid attention. And if we did, we were growing so fast. So we just, okay, yeah, all right, looks good. Next. And if we were talking about, would be nice if we had an outside company doing it for us. And at a time, no bookkeeping company existed. Maybe there were one or two, but nothing on a national level. And so that was the first idea. And then later, we opened a maintenance business when construction was out, and it was we opened the maintenance because we didn't know what else to do. We had to feed the family. And we got 20 estimates for the same scope of work from an outside companies, and the fork was from $200 to $2,000. At the time, I knew it's not right. It's not healthy. You can't have such a big spread. And that's when bookkeeping started. Like
Hmm.
literally, it started from failure, then it started because of the need, and eventually, bookkeeping became a full time gig. We sold the maintenance business and started doing that full time.
That's awesome. And then what made you want to jump into franchising? Because I know it's just a different ball game than just partnering with different people. So what brought you there?
Well, that happened, Melanie, by accident. We started doing bookkeeping for one franchise brand, and then I started going to different franchise conferences. And
Oh,
usually, when you are an exhibitor, you just wait outside for attendees to go during the break and hopefully come to your table and discuss and hopefully sell them your services. I was bored to sit at the table waiting for them to come out, so I was always inside listening to people talking about franchise, taking notes,
hmm.
asking questions. And after a while, I'm like, wow, I really like being around these people. And I'm still joking. I was telling myself, I want to be like one of them when I grow up. And I guess I've grown up.
There you go. You're a big boy now. What I want to jump into our we have our costly confessions part of the show, and this is sponsored by One Stop Tax Strategists, my tax company, and their missions to bring peace to taxes and purpose to profits to help you live more. And so we always jump into this. It's talking about your financial wins, misses, and the lessons you learned that helped you keep more of what you earn so you can live more. I was curious, when you first started out, what do you wish you knew now that you didn't know then? Or what did you wish you know then that you know now? I framed it
Well,
wrong.
I don't think it's tax season is coming up. I don't think you have 17 hours to talk about what I learned and what I didn't know. But if I just
Top thing.
things. If I had to summarize, definitely paying attention to your finances, and that comes from a finance person. And
Yeah.
then another thing that I wish I knew before we went into franchising, we started buying bookkeeping practices throughout the United States and rolling them under bookkeeping umbrella. And it looked really good at a time. We actually bought one of the first ones in your neck of the woods in East Bay, San Francisco.
Mm-hmm.
And it looked great. We were thinking we're going to do it, and we uh, rolled them under the umbrella of bookkeeping. We kept the local employee, and then local employee got a job with a big corporation, and we pretty much just lost the only employee. Like, okay, fine, we're just going to move them to our San Diego office, and it's all remote. I mean, it's 20th century, people moving this way, and we quickly lost a lot of clients because they really like this local feel. They were
Got
coming
it.
to the office, they were bringing their papers, they were still, doing it the wrong way. That was way, way pre-COVID. Now, COVID changed people's perception, and it's different now. Everybody's totally cool with remote, but it wasn't like that in 2017, 2018. That was, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
probably was like more like 16 and 17. So we lost a lot of clients because they didn't like the fact that now they're working with somebody in San Diego who they cannot see. I mean, remember, Zoom did not exist, so it was mostly the phone. And they're like, no, no, no,
Mm-hmm.
we want somebody local. Even though we were offering them better prices, I believe better service, but we just couldn't change their mindset. And I wish I knew that now, I mean, then, because we lost a lot of money by, buying the uh, business and then, losing some of the clients.
Yeah. What's one mistake that you see other entrepreneurs just making repeatedly? What's a common mistake that you find people make?
Uh, just admitting that you don't know everything. And a lot of people like, no, I'll do it myself. Like, I don't know if it's the right strategy or not. What I'm doing, I'm asking several people who I think are smarter than me and more experienced than me how they would do stuff. I ultimately make the decision. I'm not just going to ask one person and go with his or her advice. But,
Mhm.
when I know different options, it's easier for me to choose. When I have like a toolbox of solutions, I can say, well, this one is working, or is going to work, or this one probably going to work better. But what if I combine the two and then simplify the situation? So that works too. And I think a lot of uh, entrepreneurs, and I probably will say that mostly men, they just, because of the ego, they're afraid to ask for an advice because they show their weakness. I don't think so, because look, I probably won a problem. 100% was like that when I had my landscaping company with 96 employees.
Mhm.
I should have asked for advice from people way early in the game, and then we probably would not went into bankruptcy, or if we did, it would not be that uh, painful, because in construction in California you have to personal guarantee stuff. So we not only did business bankruptcy, we had to do personal bankruptcy. We had to
Oh,
sell the
wow.
house to pay off. So we just were left with completely nothing. We have to start from scratch. And then
Yeah.
I remember that some of my friends who were older and more experienced, they were telling me like, look, you should pay attention to this, this, this. And I'm like, hey, I'll figure it out. I know better because I know how to run my business. So
Yeah.
that was uh, and still is
So
a
be
mistake from modern entrepreneurs. I think it's always going to be a mistake that people make.
be humble is what you're saying. Be humble and willing to ask questions when
Be
you need
humble and
help.
listen, and admit that you don't know everything, and then other people might have more
Mhm.
experience. I mean, now obviously you can ask Chat GPT and like give me options, but remember, it's different because you don't know if every advice the Chat GPT gives you is a good advice. I mean, after all,
Yep.
it's AI. It's great to know what other people did, but I think it can also confuse you because it can give you 20 different options, and you're like, well, wait, and you're going to be completely lost.
Yeah, for sure. No, I'm in a lot of mastermind groups, as I mentioned before we clicked record on here. And I find it always really encouraging when people admit that they're really struggling, and then people really wanna come around you and help you. And so, if you're the listener and you're really struggling right now, find somebody that is more experienced than you. Really, reach out, ask for help, and people are wanting to help because chances are they've been in that situation before too, or something similar, so they can come and speak into you.
And that what sold me to the franchising industries, being around these franchisors. I mean, I personally was at a conference, and one of the speakers was the CEO of one of the largest restaurant brand with
Yeah,
I don't even know how many thousands of locations. And I did stop him in the lobby and ask a couple questions. The guy stopped, spent 15, 20 minutes with me. That was when I either had one franchisee or had zero franchisee. I don't remember. Spent 20 minutes with me, answered the questions, and then said, "Hey, here's my cell phone number. You have any questions, just call me, text me, I'll help you." He had
that's pretty
zero
cool.
interest in me because, he didn't care about, a bookkeeping franchise. But everybody in franchising is trying to help everybody. There is no competition. Everybody believes in abundance. And that's what, to answer your previous question, that's probably what sold me to start, to become a franchisor.
That's awesome. Now, you were just talking about living more. We have our businesses so that we can live the life we love. You run 3 different companies in 10 different countries. And, correct me if I'm wrong there, but how do you maintain work life balance with all that going on?
First of all, I don't agree with work-life balance. It's life-work balance, what I call,
Okay.
because like life comes first. Because
Yeah.
I refuse to work to live. This is not why I'm doing it. I want to do it because it's fun. So scheduling things that helps a lot. Like for example, I know that if I don't forcefully close my laptop at certain hour of the day, before I know it'll be 9 p.m. I still haven't had dinner and I still have like full plate of things to do.
Mhm.
So even when I go to gym and without a trainer but by myself, I schedule it. And if it says it's time for me to go to gym, I don't care how much I have on my plate. I'm gonna close my computer and I'm gonna go to the gym. If I have
Hmm.
uh, drinks or dinner planned with my friends, I'm gonna go there because otherwise, if I don't have it in the schedule, I'll go working 14, 16-hour days. But as you're getting older, your body refuses to do it on a regular basis. When we were younger, I mean, we worked long hours, and then we didn't even
Mhm.
care. I mean, I remember I was going to school, taking 18 credits at a time, and working full time at Costco. So,
Wow.
and somehow I was able to get pretty much straight A's and somehow live life. But back then I was okay with 4 or 5 hours of sleep every night, if that. As you get older, it's harder. So
Yeah.
that's how you do it. You prioritize things, and then I always take not always, but most of the time, 3 days. And there are the days when I absolutely do not do any work. So that's it.
Hmm.
This is just, time is max. It's time to spend with my kids, with my friends, with myself to go out for a walk instead of just, working. Because again, most of us can find things to do 7 days a week. But at some point, you're just going to get burned out.
Yeah, that's great advice. Now, if you could go back and give your younger self one piece of advice, what would it be?
Work on your Russian accent. No, I'm joking. Yeah, that stays, but it's okay. I don't mind. I'm already comfortable with that. And if somebody doesn't understand me, it's their problem. It's not mine. That's how I look at it, and it helps a
You have
lot.
good English, though.
Thank you. But honestly, seriously, I probably would tell myself, don't be scared. And it's all gonna work out. Because I remember, like, even speaking about the bankruptcy, I saw that that's the end of life.
Mhm.
Because like I didn't know what to do. I'm like, you have everything, you have a brand new home, great, everything, and then all of a sudden you have to sell things to pay off the debt. And I
Yeah.
thought I would never come back from it. And it was scary, especially when you are head of household and with one baby at home and one on the way. You're like, I failed. I failed as the man, as a husband, as the CEO. And honestly, I'm not ashamed to say that. I just told myself maybe the entrepreneurship is not for me. So maybe I should go and find a job. And I actually started looking. Luckily for
Hmm.
me, it was '08 or '09, no jobs were available. It was completely nothing. And we didn't have a choice but start the business. If I would found a job at a time, I probably would give up. And then I probably would regret later in life. So that's what I
Hmm.
would tell myself. Don't be afraid. Don't, there are no wrong things. I mean, it's all experiences. Mistakes are just the experiences, and eventually they're gonna get you to the next level. And you only can connect life, dots backwards. So you
Yeah.
cannot, like, you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, but there is a reason why we experience everything. So if you learn from it, great. If you just let it pass by you and you don't pay attention what you learn, that's a huge mistake in my opinion. I
Hmm.
started journaling a few years ago, Melanie. That changed my life because it just lets you slow down and just think what you learned that day. It doesn't have to
Yeah.
be long. I mean, I'm not writing a novel. This is just for internal use, but it's just for me to get something on the paper, maybe for 5 minutes, if that. But that made
Yeah.
a huge difference.
I used to journal. I should get back to that. It helps you process things. Yeah. Very cool. All right, we're going to jump into some rapid fire questions. Are you ready?
Yes.
Biggest lesson from bankruptcy.
Um, have some savings before, just have some
Before you
cushion.
go bankrupt.
Well, before, well, hopefully it doesn't come to that, but just have a,
Yeah. Yeah. That's good advice. Best business advice you've ever received.
don't be afraid of making mistakes. Own your mistakes. It's a great blessing. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger, which is the same thing in just different languages.
Love it. Favorite way to relax after a long week.
Not the healthiest way, but favorite is a good Cuban cigar with very good single malt scotch.
All right. There you go. Kicking it back. Living more. Finish this sentence. Living more means dot dot dot.
Getting more experiences, traveling more, meeting more people, and spending time with your loved ones.
Awesome. I love that. Well, thank you for sharing your story, for reminding us that resilience is built, not given. Thank you for sharing your little tips and tricks along the way, all that you've learned. I always, like I told you before, I find immigrant stories very fascinating. And I'm always encouraged because immigrants know how to work a lot harder than native born Americans. And so I'm always so encouraged by just your resiliency, the grit that you have, and all that. So thank you for sharing that with us.
Thank you,
And if
Melanie.
you want,
It's been great.
of course, yeah. And if you want to get in touch with Max, go ahead and check out franchisewithmax.com to get in touch. Max, what's going to be on there?
So on there, you can decide if you want to talk to me about doing bookkeeping for a business, if you want to consider buying a bookkeeping franchise, or if you want to choose over 600 different franchises that I can help you as I own the brokerage, which, by the way, we only get paid if you buy a franchise. We get commission from franchisor, which we share part of it with you and also pay for 9 months of your sales training out of our commission.
Great. And for everyone listening, if you want to live more, bet on yourself, learn from your setbacks, and don't be afraid to build something that lasts. We'll see you on the next one. If you enjoyed today's episode, we'd ask that you leave a quick and honest review to help more business owners find the show.